Right, so I'm out here for a 10-minute walk. I just finished eating a meal. As you guys know, I love walking after each meal. Helps with your digestion, blood sugars, energy levels, etc. We don't need to get really into that stuff. So I've been cutting now for about 3 weeks. I lost about 7 pounds. Started at 198. This morning I was at 191. Yes, my weight is going to fluctuate. Might be 192 tomorrow, and then the next time I'll be 193, and then it'll just come crashing down to 190. Who cares? Anyways, the big reason for my cut is I've got a client in here who's cutting, and I just randomly thought to myself, like, what if I just start cutting? I haven't done it in like 1 or 2 years. I want to remind myself of the principles. I want to see, like, kind of just me putting myself in my client's shoes. And so I've been cutting out for about 3 weeks. Been going great. I've lost 7 pounds. I feel really good. I feel strong. There's not much difference in the way that I look. So you could say it's just water weight. You could say maybe, I don't know, I'm losing something else out of myself. But during this cut, I've been going back and doing lots of research. Been diving into obesity, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, hyperglycemia, heart disease, insulin, the glycemic index, a lot of basic stuff that I guess are in the back of my mind, but I've been just researching again. A common trend with a lot of these studies is how easy it is to fall into these diseases. Now you guys may be thinking to yourself, like, no, like, it's completely under your control. You decide what you eat, what you put into your body, and you got to be super disciplined. I get that, and a lot of times I have this mindset. However, I was just tuning in today. I was just listening to or as I've been researching, it's been showing me how easy it is to be out of shape. From the restaurants that you go to, from the supermarket, from what your friends has at his house, from what you listen to from Instagram, TikTok, from the news. It's a lot of propaganda. A lot of it wants to hold you back from the truth. Saturated fats are not good for you. They're in red meat. If you eat too much, it can cause a heart stroke, heart disease, and a plethora of problems. Carbohydrates have too many issues with them. They'll get stored as fat. Carbs are bad. You should get into keto. Don't eat fats because fats make you fat, and obviously you don't want to get fat. So just let go of the fats, which can lead to a lot of hormonal issues, a lot of not the best brain function. It can lead with a plethora of just problems. And what's crazy is these studies and these things are happening in our faces. And a big issue with that is the parents and their knowledge. The school system, like I mentioned earlier, Instagram and TikTok and all these different internet channels importing all these things into your mind. You have even in the fitness industry, there are people that are just confuse you with so many things. You should follow keto. It'll get you lean. You should follow carnivore. It's how our ancestors eat. You should follow vegan, right? Because animals are not meant to suffer. And there's so many confusion as to what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what you should limit, what you should have more of. And it's just this constant confusion as to what it is you must do to get in shape, getting healthy, getting your life back, right? That's the big thing. Yeah, I would love for everybody, to just be ripped and jacked because I think it's awesome. But in reality, we all want our life back. We want to take control of our health, control of our energy levels, control of how much muscle we have, control of, how we look and feel about ourselves, because we are doing things that are healthy, doing things that can make us better. But yet it feels like the world is just against us. pushing us with propaganda, pushing us with posters, pushing us with all these different marketing schemes. Now you even have these weight loss drugs. You have Ozempic, GLP-1, peptides. You have all these different things that are supposed to be the cure to your health. Only for people to realize that, yes, though you may lose weight from the suppression of hunger, maybe you can do some things with your hormones. Again, I'm not super entirely sure how any of those drugs work, but I want to realize that after you are done taking them, you end up getting all the weight back. Not because the drug didn't work, it's because you're still the same person. You're still the same fat person, but just in a skinny body. The drug only changed the exterior, it didn't change the interior. Your interior game is messed up. I always say it always starts with the mind. You have to have that mindset that you are this new person, that you can do this, that you have this belief with yourself that yes, you can, you will. I've been able to do it. I've seen my clients been able to do it. I've seen multiple people who were in just really bad scenarios actually do it. But again, you're faced with the consequences of trying to reach for your goals. Your friends and family are not going to agree with you. The internet is not going to agree with you. You're supposed to be perfect at every single size. And you're supposed to not make people insecure because while you're trying to chase a better physique, a better self, you don't want your friends to get jealous. You don't want your family to get jealous. Maybe even your coworkers or your classmates. And so you bounce back and forth as to what it is you truly want to do. You want to lose weight for your health, but you don't want to be too selfish. But then again, you don't want to be fat because it sucks waking up in the morning and having to, get up and having to walk up on the stairs, and you hate having low back issues. And so you're constantly battling that mental side of it. And you're comparing yourself too. In social media, all you see is people's highlights. Hey, I was able to lose 100 pounds. I was actually able to deadlift this amount of weight. Hey, I was able to eat all this junk food. I didn't gain a single weight, and I'm super lean. Look at me by my program. You are at constant war with yourself. Constantly. There is consistently something that is in your mind or that comes and tries to penetrate your mind from the exterior and wants to eat at you alive. And it's very difficult for you to battle all that and then say, you know what? I'm going to excuse all these distractions in my life and I'm going to hone in. I'm going to focus. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to get a mentor. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to change my lifestyle. Change the way that I eat. Change the way that I train, that I do cardio, etc. and etc. You get a mentor and come to find out this guy doesn't really care about you. He cares about your results. He cares how much weight you lose. Doesn't care how you feel. Doesn't care what you look like. As long as it shows triple digits that you've lost in pounds, he does not care. It's even hard for me. How can I be credible in this space when I have a few clients? I don't have thousands as of right now, but I have a few. Yes, I can tell you how much I'm reading, how much I'm studying, how much I'm implementing with myself, with my clients, what successes, what hasn't failed, my good, my bad, my struggles, etc. But yet, how are you for sure that I'm going to help you out? And so you probably can't even trust me. And so as we've been talking, you're constantly at war with yourself, constantly at war with this world. This world doesn't want to see you succeed. It wants you to submit to what their rules are, what their laws are. Again, this isn't talking about political, but it's the system that we live in. And so how do you break free from that? Right? After stating all that, it's almost like you can't break free. But how does somebody like myself, who was 150 pounds, skinny, didn't have as much confidence, I would always get picked on. I remember rushing to school and it felt like the weight of just my day would just topple at me. And I could just sink into my bed, just just deeper and deeper. And I just wish that all this were to be over. How does a guy like that change, right? Well, you have to start. You have to do something. You cannot, I have personally never seen somebody get to where they want in life by just waiting for the perfect time, perfect moment, the perfect day, the perfect whatever. The perfect doesn't exist. The only perfect is God, and He's watching over you as we speak. And so you must move. Do I mean that physically? Yes. Do I mean that by getting a membership? Yes. Do I mean that by changing your diet, by getting a coach, by figuring out what you want to become in life? Of course. These are all ways that I want you to move. You have to create some type of motion. Nobody has ever gotten an answer for a prayer by just sitting in prayer. It comes from the prayer and you moving. Through motion, through movements, your prayers will be answered. And for me, it was very simple. I started to work out. It was like twice a week. It wasn't nothing crazy. Yes, did I despise it? Did I want to go home as soon as I got there? Of course. I didn't like the feeling of my arms shaking and it feels like it's just gonna drop on my face. I didn't like the feeling of people looking at me as I was struggling with just 15 pounds. I didn't like stuffing my face with food every single day. I would take in mass scanners as well. Super nasty. It'd be thick and it feels like you can't swallow it because you're still trying to swallow the previous sip. But I just started. I did something. Sometimes I would go to the extreme. Sometimes I would do a little bit, but I still move. I still did something. Yes, there were days where I didn't believe in myself, and there were also days where I saw results. But throughout that period, which was like the first 3 years, I didn't see much changes. I said I didn't know the right systems. And so I believe. But in reality, it's because I didn't want it bad enough. I didn't know really what to do, but I wasn't eager to just figure out exactly what it was. And so I succumbed to what the world said and what it wanted me to do, and that led me to not making much gains for the first 3 years. I was also very inconsistent. I didn't track my workouts, I didn't track my meals. There wasn't much care going into it. As I move into year 4, 5, 6, that's when I truthfully started making more growth. I understood how to track. I understood how to track my meals, my workouts, how to sleep properly, how to stay disciplined, how to stay consistent. And it wasn't just a start day 1 and then you just achieve whatever it is you want to be by day 2. But through moving, through doing something, through you deciding mentally, I'm no longer going to be affected by my circumstances. I'm no longer gonna let my family dictate what I want to be, or my friends, or my alcohol addiction, or my drug addiction, or whatever it is. I'm off of these strings. I'm not gonna be controlled by what the world wants me to be. I'm going to decide what it is today, who it is I want to become. And I envision that person, and I walk like that person, and I started doing so many things that after a few years, you're like, okay, you are this person now. You have become that person. And so if you let yourself get led by the world, led by the waves, or just kind of think to yourself, hey, I'm going to go through the motion, you're going to be dealt the same pain that everybody else who never becomes who they want to is going to feel. And so the power is in you. God has put that power in you. Not for you to believe that you are a God yourself, but that through Him you have the power to change. You have the power to achieve anything it is you want to be. You have the power to do anything. It does not matter. There's nothing too great for God. There's nothing too little for Him. I've seen guys like myself gain 50 pounds. I've seen some of my clients lose a whole bunch of weight. I've seen people make lifestyle changes that you would have never believed for from their background. But what's so different? Nothing is. They have the same power that you and I have. And the more that you use it, the more that you believe in yourself, believe that you can do this, and you work at it, it is inevitable that you will achieve this goal. But you are gonna face a lot of battles, a lot of problems, a lot of struggles. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it is simple. You follow a plan, you do it to a T, and you will get results. Once you're synced in with your goals and your habits, it is only a matter of time for you to reach your goal. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you'd like to see more videos like these. I see myself doing this more often, but again, that is up to you guys. So you guys take care and God bless.